Very good. Welcome, everyone, to yet another installment of the Design and Development Division's Learning Experience Design webinar series. Today, I'm very excited to present two authors who recently published a chapter in the edited volume, User and Learner Experience Design, that was released on EdTech Books. I'm going to do a quick introduction of today's speakers. The first is Dorothée Cavanaugh-Bro, who is a lecturer at the University of Paris-Nanterre in the field of education and training sciences, specializing in adult learning and instructional design, as well as Denise Christol, a PhD research associate, also at the University of Paris-Nanterre, who's also authored 20 books on leadership, management, and professional training. We're looking forward to your webinar topic today. And on that note, I'll pass the microphone to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you. So welcome, everybody. We are very happy to share with you some findings of a research conducted at the CNFPT, and which led to the publication of a chapter in a book that we'll present afterwards. So we'll speak about learner experience design in professional environments, and we'll share with you researcher and practitioner perspectives on the co-design of a MOOC on public innovation. So we have been introduced already, so I will be very, very quick. So I have a PhD in training science. I'm a lecturer at University of Paris, and I'm also a learner experience designer and project manager and researcher in a corporate university in France. Dennis?
Yes, my main job is to be innovation director in a training center for CAO. And I'm also research associate at the University of Paris-Nanterre. Also monomaniac of writing about training and learnance, a concept we will develop after.
Okay, so maybe we can start with knowing a little bit more about you. Dennis, can you help us?
Yes. The overview of the design case, we first speak about the theoretical ground, then the context of the case in the French administration. Then we'll speak about the co-design process, essentially a participatory design process. Then we'll develop a professional development perspective, and we'll get the issue on some best practices for design from our experience. First, we want to speak about participatory design.
Dennis, I'm sorry.
Yes.
You skipped. Sorry, you skipped. You know the part when we want to know who is in the webinar.
This is
okay.
Yes, just maybe a little time to sort of icebreaker. Did you accept an icebreaker? You can put your answer on the chat. It's okay for you, small icebreaker? Yes, right? Okay. Okay. If you just want to do this icebreaker, you just have to do one thing, is to go to the window, to open the window near of your desk, to breathe in with your nose and breathe out with your mouth. Just take a few seconds to breathe. It's okay for you? And maybe put some of your feelings on the chat. If you're right, you can do this now. don't be too shy. Huh? Take the window.
Thank you, Matthew. Matthew's writing, it's relaxing. So we have some instructional designers with us. Professor.
Yes, thanks, Noah. Okay.
Some researchers.
Hello, Ahmed. Hello, Besma. Okay, if you have take time to breathe.
We have somebody from Africa, Zimbabwe. Welcome. Africa. We are in Paris right now with Dennis.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Just I need to stop.
Okay.
Yes. Voilà. Sorry. And then we have a PhD student. Hello, Cindy.
Cindy from Illinois University.
Okay, so maybe we can start again, Dennis, with no, first I will, sorry. It's, so first it's me talking. Okay, so today we present a case which has been published at TED Book, as Matthew said before. So it's a design case, and it's a case in the field of adult vocational training in France that would try to demonstrate how a mixed methodology using participatory and co-design would help in the process of engineering a MOOC on public innovation. So that's the schedule of the webinar that Dennis presented a few minutes ago. Maybe you can present it again, Dennis, if you want.
Yes, if you want the theoretical ground first, the context of the case in a French public administration, the co-design process, which is a participatory design process, a professional perspective on best practice for design coming from experience. So the first thing I want to speak about is participatory design. We get inspired by Scandinavian approach of design to change society, not only a product, but to change all the society. For us, the use of participatory design is a way to get people from many services, from division, public administration, to collaborate and to get involved in a transition process. The MOOC was just a way to motivate people to get into transition and to develop a public project of management, welcome stranger, on many public interest goals to be achieved with the help of the MOOC. So participatory design is not only an approach technical, it's not only a method, it's a philosophy. If you can see the participatory design research field, you can see many center of interest. Project can be led by design, by research, take user as subject or user as partner. a main point for us is design on emotion. It's very important in the field of participatory design to get people taken by the flow. Maybe you know the work of Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, a psychologist, speaking about flow, speaking about the way to get involved in the project without missing of energy, of emotion. You can go on. Your microphone, Dorota.
Yes, it was off. So basically, what's really important in participatory design is that the user is seen as a partner. And in order to accompany the change management. But we also worked with the field of co-design, which is another way of designing, and it is a bit different in participatory design, as it is working with a collaboration, and it's mixing together a lot of people, designers, users, novice, experts, in our case, citizens or trainer, consultant, and public servants. And what's in the ground of the philosophy of co-design is that anybody is an expert regarding their own experience, and anybody can mobilize its own practical knowledge and experiential knowledge. That's why we try to analyze this MOOC, which used both those methods of design, which is co-design, not method, approaches, which is co-design and participatory design. So maybe you can tell us about the context.
Yes, the context. We are working in a great institution, training nearly 1 million people each year, a major one in Europe. And this institution work for public servants in many administration, territorial administration. So our main goals is to help towns to transform their way to design public policies. So we want to develop a MOOC to help many people from many countries, because France has a great geographical area from Asia, Pacifica, Africa, and also Europe, to access knowledge and to help a project team of a public servant to develop new way of doing public policies. So the MOOC was a great help to spread this knowledge. You can go on.
Okay, so I'm sharing now the project timeline of the MOOC. So the MOOC was decided by sponsors, among them were Dennis, and the MOOC and all the process of the design of the MOOC and the co-design of the MOOC were what I studied during my research. And so they started with this intention note of you know, this goal to do the MOOC that would reach all the civil servants and also the citizens interested in public innovation, because public administration is a very large in France. You can people are working in city hall, they're working in schools, they're working in hospitals. So the intention was really doing something very participatory. and based on a literature review on connectivity MOOC. And then as the administration was going through a change management, they decided to build this MOOC using co-design and participatory design. So the design of the MOOC took around 18 months, and it involved a lot of people. The design team itself changed from workshop to workshops in order to integrate the user perspective, user as a subject, and as well as the users as partners, because the goal of the institution was also to have people being able to lead the change and to conduct innovation. So here you can see the several working workshops that were organized, and between these workshops, the team design was building up the design of the MOOC itself. So I will maybe go deeper with the pictures explaining how it worked. So you can maybe give us all the means the institution had to build this MOOC.
Maybe 4 means were mobilized for this building of MOOC. The first one is collective intelligence facilitation. All the workshop we built for building the MOOC was managed by facilitators. First means. The second one is community building. The design of the MOOC was a pretext, a way to create a community of public innovators. The third is design thinking. We get help with designers, art thinkers, and developers, computer developers, programmers to design the MOOC. And also we use the materials of a dedicated space, a learning lab, on co-designs rooms, very well furnished with screen, robots, and so on. The method of design thinking, we take the broad definition, a discipline that used the designer sensibility and methods to match people needs with what is technologically feasible and what is a viable business strategy can convert to customer value on market opportunity. For example, we ask people to see users in the street and answer them the way they want public policy was built in the country. This is veritably a breakthrough to go out of room and to speak directly to people in the street and to build hypotheses about the engineering of this MOOC.
Okay, so we wanted to share with you some pictures. So the approach was our participatory design and co-design, and the methods were, among the methods we use design thinking, and design thinking was used to produce prototypes and as well as to test the prototypes to build the MOOC. Instead of building and engineering this MOOC, starting with the objectives, the course, the topics, the themes, we started with what people learning in this MOOC would do. So that's how we worked, building and engineering this MOOC, and it was almost the other way around. And at the end, it was decided whether which topic would be put inside into the course. So the prototypes, maybe I can, no, the prototypes were, so the macro design of the prototypes of the MOOC was prototyped. It was also, we asked some civil servant and trainer and consultants participating in the workshop to visualize how they would go through this MOOC and what would they do and how would they learn. And starting from that, they built some prototypes. And after these prototyping phases, these prototypes were tested by users and by specialists. And I have so that's another prototype in Cluny. For instance, the participants and the stakeholders of the MOOC were prototypes several times. During the first workshop in March, that was shown in the timeline. And at the end, we had to prototype again all the stakeholders to make sure everybody every people working in public innovation and every facilitators of this MOOC would be included as partners. And as for the testing phases, this is a picture of the learning lab. After a morning, so the training consultants, users, and public servants in the morning, they designed how the learners would go through the MOOC, and then they presented it to a specialist, in open innovation working in Canada, and she was online, and she only asked them some questions about what they presented without asking them any answers, and then so it helps them, thinking about what they did and how relevant it was, and then they could go back and prototype again. Another testing phase is here. You have here is the designing of the path of the user, of the different learners, and what would they do and in which condition. And another team who was working on the content tested and gave the ideas. And here it was in the last workshop. It was during the public, the University of Innovation during the summer, and they asked all the participants of the university to come and to read the objectives, the pedagogical objective of the MOOC, and to choose in which one they would identify. And as a result, what happened at the beginning, the sponsors, they wanted to build a connectivist MOOC. And at the end, because all the users could share how they would collaborate and participate and learn, the MOOC ended up with two different paths that Dennis will share right now.
Yes, two paths. The first one was discovering a path, the ways to get a sensibilization, to discover the main topic of public innovation. On the second one, a path with more motivation, more time to learn, was a path to collaborate in physical team with physical meetings. So the MOOC is traditionally distance learning, but in this path, we help people to meet themselves. So it was really different from other MOOCs. A main thing we want to share with you is the concept of learnance. In French, we have two words to speak about learning. We have only words, sorry. The word is apprendre. In English, you have two words, teaching and learning. So we create a new word, learnance, and I want to share with you a small video to explain the concept we get in your mind all over the building of this MOOC.
I need to start sharing again because, yes.
We will share a small video, 3 minutes video.
You let me know if you can hear, okay?
Yes, it will be translated in English.
It's okay?
We get the sound, but not the...
You can hear the sound?
I can hear the sound without the picture now.
Okay, thank you.
We voluntarily make a distinction between learning and openness to learning. Feelings are part of our everyday experience. In a way, each situation flows through us, and learning is the mark that the experience leaves behind. Openness to learning consists in a willingness to understand, channel, and master said flow. When an experience flows through an entire group, the marks left in each member's experience combine into one. Willingness to learn and master the flow as a group is what we call collective openness to learning. Openness to learning thereby consists in the various qualities that enable an individual to learn in every situation, be it formal, informal, selected by the learner, or set up by their company. In order to further our understanding of openness to learning, let's explore the three dimensions that define it: willingness, know-how, and conditions. Willingness to learn is simply an individual's motivation to learn. It starts with understanding our own personal motivations, followed by the will to take action, and of course, the will to persist in order to meet our goals. This dimension comes with aspiration, effort, and gratification. Knowing how to learn consists in focusing our attention on learning. Learning how to learn is a hot topic these days, but I feel that it all boils down to an individual's willingness to go with the flow. Conditions to learn is a combination of favorable environments, appropriate material, and psychological resources and support from our colleagues. As its name indicates, collective openness to learning refers to willingness, know-how, and environment to learn as a group. Willingness to learn together entails having a common goal, greater than any individual, and working for a cause or a stimulating mission. Knowing how to learn together consists in using collaborative methods and creating bonds between individuals. This is easy to achieve nowadays thanks to the internet and the myriad of readily available free software. It's every co-learner's job to co-facilitate each other's professional relationships and learning. Conditions to learn together means setting collective learning goals, negotiating, and using the resources at hand. It also means leaning on the feeling of a place, sometimes exceeding its limits or even better, drawing inspiration from it. Nelson Mandela turned his prison into the university of his own political movement.
We don't see the picture, but the audio was very clear, I think so.
Yes, I'm sorry. I didn't know you couldn't see the video. Basically, you see Dennis explaining what you heard.
Yes, I'm smart in real. Okay.
I'm sorry.
So we get the concept of learning readiness. We create a neologism, learnance, to describe this attitude. And this attitude was the way we chose to follow all over the building of this MOOC. Maybe we can speak about the conditions of participation, Dorothée.
Yes. So participation is not always easy, as you can imagine. especially when you design with different people with different skills. And here are some conditions of this participation. You cannot decide there will be participation. You have to facilitate it, but it's not that easy. So what we've learned studying this case is that during the workshop and even in between, we have to make sure all the participants have access to the relevant information, especially when we ask some civil servant to build and to prototype some parts of the MOOC. It was not that easy for them, even if they had, you know, all the skills and the expertise regarding public innovation and public administration. They had to have the right way of how to produce a teaser. So the relevant information is really important, and you have to have this information with you during the workshop. As well as that, we noticed that it's you also need to be very open-minded, because we had very different points of view, because the French administration is very large, and as I said, it's in a lot of fields. So and most of all, we also had among the users, we had some people, you know, already trained in innovation and change management, and some others which were novice learners, and so all the points of view had to be taken into account. It's also very important to be very transparent on the methods and the goals, and what will be done, and how the prototype would be used. And so communication is one of the keys during this design. And it was also to be able to have some arrangements and to alternate technical, organizational. Sometimes we use the technology, sometimes we just prototype with raw materials, and it has to be very smooth, and all the means have to be very accessible in order for people to participate. And we've noticed a lot of benefits of this participation from a professional development point of view. We could notice how the design team could learn from collaboration. Also how the end users could learn from their participation, and some end users which were novice at the beginning, they became real leaders during the MOOC. And they organized, you know, the group session that Dennis was talking about. There were some of them were the leaders of this group session and working on real projects. So it was a real good benefit. And as well as for the project manager and the designers, compared to the traditional way of doing instructional design, where you have your ADDIE methodology and everything is quite very well organized, they had to adapt their mindset and to change as well, because as we said before, the MOOC changed a lot from the first intentional node to the one who was organized and opened. So learner experience design resulted in the creation of creating the 2 training courses, as we said, and which was not really anticipated at the beginning. And as well as Dennis was saying, it was what we can call a hybrid or blended MOOC, because it was as well as distance learning, as well as a group and project learning. In all the different administrations that were following the MOOC. So maybe, Dennis, you can share with us best practice for the designers.
The first idea is a minimum of 8-9 people to organize a workshop on testing teams. So we organize maybe then 4 to 5 workshops. I don't remember exactly the number. We need also a variety of backgrounds, point of views, experience, and knowledge with physical meetings, or also online resources. We need in this process of participatory design professional facilitators. That's a main point to help people support social learning, informal learning, and to be very strong in listening people needs. We also need a variety of working means, online or offline, to help everybody contribute. We try all over the process to cultivate open-mindedness and willingness to try new things. I remember the main point is to develop a community of public innovators. And the main point for innovation is to collaborate and to be open-minded. So the design of the MOOC was a way to develop this spirit of mind. Also, we challenge the function of online learning platforms because we want physical meeting for people wanting to meet themselves physically. But online platforms are not so easy to get this function. Then we need also to welcome unexpected things. If something happen, if someone do a proposal, the spirit of mind was to listen and to say, okay, we can do these new pedagogical activities to be included in the MOOC. So we have to get very flexible and to welcome everything happen. Maybe the conclusion, we can say also the building of the MOOC has a cost nearly 20,000 euros, many times to work in the working shop. We can say also 15,000 people do the MOOC within nearly 4 years. The MOOC come with a summer university of innovation. We get trained nearly than 5,000 people physically meeting themselves on where train with the MOOC. So we can help nearly 225 innovation project in this process. 4 of them get innovation prize. It was a great honor for us to be recognized with this prize. And also benefit was the creation of public innovators community. It was our main proud in this project.
Yes, and yeah, the MOOC is still on every year. Sometimes it has been on sometimes twice a year, and it continues to evolve. I think that building it the way it started, in a very test and learn way, it's like a very critical characteristic of a MOOC, which enable it to evolve every year and to grow this community that Dennis is talking about. Even though it took a long time and we had some pitfalls, and you can discover all that in the book chapter.
Yes, the book now is part of an ecosystem, a training ecosystem, helping innovators, a new way of thinking, new way of trainings, new way of meetings, and welcome facilitation, collective intelligence facilitation to get developed in the French territorial administration.
Okay, so thank you for your attention, and if you have any questions, we would be very happy to answer.
The first question is there order. Maybe we can go directly to the second.
We have a quiet group today, friends. Let me just
Yes.
remind everyone, please feel free to use the chat if you're feeling maybe a little bit shy and not wanting to grab the microphone.
Maybe, Dennis, we could share the fund platform address if people want to register to the next MOOC session in French, of course, but maybe I can find it. Stop sharing. Okay, there is it.
There is a first answer. What are the implications of this work to the broader field of instructional design? It's a good question.
Yes. You want to start or I start?
Go.
From a searcher point of view, what I would say is that we had a professional dispute with Dennis about that, about how, is co-design and participatory design instructional design, and we don't agree. So we will not fight tonight together, but from my point of view, and what I've seen in literature is that the field of instructional design is changing. It has been changing for a few years now, and how you can see it in the book, really there has been a turning point from working on content to working on the user, and and how the learners, and not only the learners, among the users, you have the learners as well as the facilitators and all the training team. And it's like, changing radically the way to build things. It takes time. It's really another way around. And so from the research, from the searching point of view, I think it's a broadening of the instructional design field. And from a practitioner point of view, I'm currently trying to develop this way of doing instructional design, and it's not that easy in the field because you don't always have the end users with you, and it's easy regarding the training teams, because we can manage to co-design with them. But regarding the end users, right now, we try to work starting with research, before starting designing any training course. We do some I don't know the name in English, I forgot. Une enquête, maybe Denise, you can help me. A survey, yeah, we do some survey with end users, with learners, or we go to the training room and we ask them we ask them questions about how they learn, what's the best way for them to learn and what they need to learn. And then, we use personas, and we build learner experience design with personas. I don't know if I answer your question, but maybe Denise, you can add something.
No, the point from his participatory design is larger than instructional design, human-centered and not instruction-centered. In my point of view, the main goal to achieve is to get people working together to succeed in their projects, in their professional task. So I think it's very important to get a team very strong in the beginning of the design, within the course of the MOOC, and in the phase of evaluation or co-evaluation. For me, it's a continuum from the design to the evaluation to get people strongly linked each other. And for the question of Matthew about the perception that LXD approach are widely developed in Europe or in France, I'm not sure this is true. Maybe I go too many times in specific training center closely interested in social design and social learning. So I don't see a traditional way to do learning. It's very difficult for me to answer.
And we have a question about elementary students. I don't see why you could not do that with elementary students, as long as you have in mind that those students are the experts of their learning, and they are taken into account as partners. I think it could be a great challenge, and it would lead to something very interesting. So I would be interested if you do that, Rami. Ritami, to share with us how it works.
Also, I want to say learners are never targets. Learners are partner, co-designers, never a target. There's no way that the designer, the conceptors do not think other people as an object. This is a subject. It's very important in the concept of learnance I develop hereafter.
Mm.
Maybe Ahmed want to speak.
Merci beaucoup. I've enjoyed listening to you and enjoyed your presentation. A lot of what you said for me poses some ethical questions and kind of like bring some points of discussion, of debate about specifically design ethics and the designer responsibility. I understand the virtue of participatory design. It's one of the things that it's one of those things that, as you actually said, very beautiful to read about, very beautiful to get inspired of, quite complicated and hard to do in action.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you aptly remarked and said. And your last, I'm going to start my question from the last thing you said, Dennis. You said learners are not an object or not a target, but they are partner and they should be thought in that way. In that case, if we think of our learners as partner designers, so what is our responsibility as designers in the sense that if learners can just learn by themselves or learners can create their own learning experiences, why do we have to have professions called learning designers? Why Matt Schmidt is actually teaching future learning designers? How we just teach all of us to learn by ourselves and just go with that?
Oh, thank you for the question. I mean, for me, it's the main point of transition for our jobs. I'm very penetrated with the Wu Wei concept, a Chinese concept, which say a goal without goal, an intention without intention. We just have to welcome people and to help them to develop by themselves the way they can teach. For me, the main point is the path, not the content. So I think people learning are people trying to develop their own way to learn. If you remember Albert Bandura, we get a concept of self-directed learning. Self-direction of this learning is the main topics to learn by oneself. So each time you can put people in the situation they develop their self-direction to learn, you can help them to grow their own desire to learn. And now this is the main point, how to develop the desire to learn. Everybody can take his smartphone and find out the content. But the more difficult things is to create the condition, the context, help people to develop by themselves the desire to learn. So each time you can put people in the context of develop by himself his goal, his own goals, you make a win. So our jobs is to develop the point of learnance I develop in the small video. This concept of learnance say we just have to welcome people and to help them to find their own way, even in the development of a MOOC or other training program.
And I think our professional field has a great time to come, because there's a lot of job to do, because when you have different paths of learning, it's more work for you, because you still have to create some content. You still have to facilitate the way to learn. You still have to try to match, the constraint of firms, of enterprise, of administration. They have, training objectives, and then you have these learners that Dennis is talking about, is how you make it match, all the knowing you have on the theory of learnings, all the design skills is not an easy skill it's a skill to develop. So I think instructional designers have plenty of work to come.
Thank you.
Excellent. And thank you, Dorothée and Denise. We're just about out of time, and so I think that we can go ahead and wrap up. Was there anything else that you wanted to say at this point?
No, it's okay. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We very much appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now.